Something is fishy here. It's Monday evening. Tough day at work. Not tough, but complex problems. So bit drained. And we're reaching the final stage of the V3 0 01 of the first parity version of Fiiish, right? And the last bits are always kind of fiddly and tiny bits and pieces, and lots of this stuff cannot be done on stream, but the goal was October 31st, which is this Thursday, and I don't have time on Wednesday and Thursday, actually, sorry about that, to have a version store ready with each engine to get the final comparison between Unity and Godot, right? Or Godot, whatever you say. So we have the web version behind me here, and so the plan is I'm going to extend my deadline because I'm traveling from Thursday, which means I lose some time. So try to get the Godot version ready this week, which means today, maybe tomorrow, and then do the Unity version next week. So there's a few minor things I want to address. I want to look into why the hell does the web version not have any zone files? Everything is working, but the zone files are not there, right? And I have no idea why. So we're going to address that. Let's park this for the moment, right? And we have the to-do list here. No, I don't want to do the update now. I found some assets while cleaning up, which is good. So I want this splash image. It's in the wrong folder, right? So I found Fiiish v2, which is actually, technically this should be Fiiish v4, I realized, because v3 was the Rust version and v2 was, but we stick with the v3 for now. So find the splash and create a demo build, right? And then there's one more thing, if I press play here. Where did, okay. No, I want some build info here, right? So let us do all of the above. And that's today. And then I also want to do, I would love to have the CI system set up and run the test there, but for now, we're just going to do project, export, and do some timings on the binaries and probably go over the settings as well, right? So when you see some of the passes are wrong, and we're going to go all into that. Step one. Where are my zones? Dude, where are my zones, right? Because the game manager, I think it's the game manager. The game manager, and we really, I wish I could turn, can I turn this off? Can I turn this sidebar off? It's just taking, there's so much wasted space here on the sides. This needs some major cleanup, but we're not doing this before the V3, right? We learned a lot. I mean, this was code we wrote very early on. So somewhere, current zone, entity, coins, ready. On ready, we get all the files here, right? And somehow there's nothing in there. Can we just put a print here, right? I just want to see what the hell is going on, right? Because so we have this zone, so the zone is there, right? And actually, let's so this is the New zone loader, right? Too much noise here. Just too much noise here. Then I think it's a serializer. Not the serializer that prints the size, which we don't really need. And then it's the zone, new zone resource that puts out a bit of debug info, right? So we don't need the name here. We know that is working. We don't need any of this, right? Just reduce the debug output a little because we don't need the layer names because we know what's in there, right? So let's press play. I just want a list of zones here. So we get all the zones, right? This is basically resources, zones. These are the files that are here. Right? And when I export the web build, for some reason, so if I press, wait. If I run this in the browser, right? If I run this in the browser and this will open on the wrong desktop. Can you? So my Firefox just decided that I can't drag out tabs anymore. So I can't close that tab either. Let's try this again. Nope. Okay. Let's open a new browser window, right? Let's open a new browser window. What's going on with this system? So, new browser window. I cannot drag this tab out, right? I cannot, but here it is. And there are no, oh, there's a zone, right? There's a zone. The zone is here. So, tools. Can we just press? Something is weird here, right? So, console. So we get all these zones here, right? That is working. We have some. Okay. Okay, I mean, it's working, but. Okay, but we do have our zones here, right? So let's keep that browser on the side. So our zones are definitely here, right? So I want to push that just for the debug info. So we can run a build in the background and then see where we go. So this is S01, and this is a bit. Actually, what we could also do is we can just try to export. And the path here is wrong, right? Because I want it to be actually not here. I want it to be here, Godot, and then have a new folder, WebGL, right? And funnily enough, you have to save it twice. So this is our export, right? And the sad thing is it's in the PCK. Can we just open this in a web browser and hit the wrong browser again? Your browser does not support JavaScript. Oh, that's a good one. and I can't close that tab. So what is going on with... Hey, let's try this again. Okay. Same origin. It's all files, so okay. So we're not going to debug this locally. We're not going to debug this locally, and I'm going to restart the browser, right? Because so what we will do is we're going to commit this change with a different debugging, right? We're going to commit this so we can actually test it here. And I'm going to restart the browser while that is building, which probably is going to be a nightmare because I have so many open tabs. But it is what it is. So we said we want to commit this, right? And this is improve debug output in Godot. We just commented out some debugs, right? Improving also can remove moving noise, and we change the export path. So I commit this, I rebase this, I push this, right? And while this is building, this is not the build, this is the last build, right? But while this is building, I'm going to give you a black screen here. And I will kill Firefox completely. Let's see, let's also quit this. Unity is running in the background and doing some weird stuff, so probably I should reboot the system just looking at it. Wow. So we're rebooting the system, right? So we're rebooting the system. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe having Unity open too long just killed my disk. So I'm gonna log in real quick because I should have. I mean, I reboot once a month, right? So if at all, so probably should have done that off stream. But here we are. At least it's not a Windows system that needs 20 minutes to oh, installing update? Really? Seriously? Well, the main problem now is it's going to reopen all my old windows and put them all into one desktop. So I'm going to wait for like 15 seconds. Yes. No. No. Getting thousands of windows, asking for updates, so this one can go. That's why I don't use Steam. 2 new accessories for Stream Deck. XLR dock and USB hub. XLR dock looks nice. Is that the only update that will run? Okay, so let's try this again, right? So here's my red screen. So I'm gonna put the browser here. 1 gigabyte for the Stream Deck update. Well, it's a button manager. Okay. Okay, we're almost there, right? The build will take a second longer anyway, so thank you for reopening 18 gazillion windows, all on the wrong screens. I wish apps would listen if I tell them start clean. This is here. This window goes here, sorry about this, and then I'm gonna create a new version of this window here and go to Twitch just so to see the thingy, right? One of those days. Wow. Twitch, I turned off the audio, right? For a reason. I cannot get to my... Firefox is completely broken. Completely messed up. I don't know why. I cannot get to my own stream. Twitch is broken. Twitch is seriously broken. Twitch is... Am I still here? Hello? Hello, hello. So, give me 1 second, right? Wow. Wow. Something broke really badly. Something broke really badly. I mean, always, right? We're getting close to a release, so... No, I'm not gonna show you. Dear Sublime, if I open a new window, I don't want 17 old windows to open, right? I just want that new window to be open. And then I want to open Sublime. Oh, it's coming back. It's all coming back. So let's see. I still don't know why. Thank you. Okay, we're almost back in business. Right, we're almost back in business. So let's open this splash screen to be done. Obviously, we lost so much time. Let's get rid of this. And this is the build we were watching, right? This build is done. So let's turn on the console and see what happens. So there's no data in there. Why is there no data in there? Right, so I was looking at probably Godot in package file pass res and user accessing files in the project folder. And persistent user data. Self-contained mode. No. Something is... So, here's the thing, right? We have a custom resource. We have our own resource type, right? This is our own resource type. So this is the pass, right? This is the pass. The unique pass to this has been saved to, well, so Godot custom resources not added to build. Yes, I have the same problem. Wait, what? I have to read that in the docs. When used on RESTPass in an exported project, only the files actually included at the given folder level are returned. I mean, there's not a single resource in there, right? We get all files, right? We don't get only zone files, we get all files, right? So what do I have to do to... Okay, we're gonna, and this is a bit of a hack, right? This is a bit of a hack, but I want to see the top level folder, right? And we have to round trip to right? We have to round trip for that. So if I press play now, I expect to only see zones in there, right? Because those zones is the only thing, well, and some scripts, which probably shouldn't be there, but oh, get files add, right? So is there a get dir access? Get directories containing file names of the directory contents excluding files. Okay, so we have got directories add and we have get directories add and we have get files add, right? We also have a lister. All files using get next. So we need to do get files and get directories, right? So let's do files. This is a bit hacky, right? F. And I also want to do get directories. This is there's I probably should type directories. I'm lazy, right? And maybe we go the classic way and list folders first, right? So I just want to see if any resources, if that folder is actually empty, right? So we have the zones in there and we have the files in there, right? So they are definitely exported. So I want to check as well the web. So I'm not sure why this doesn't start like gigantic, because we have the space, right? Why doesn't it start like this? So let's go through all options, right? Extensions, no extensions, no thread for desktop, and probably for mobile. It's fine. We export the icon. We don't have a special shell. Okay, resources. Export all resources in the project, right? Export all resources. All resources. What? I mean, so we could manually select this here, right? But if I say all resources, I want literally all resources. So let's give this one more try. I'm gonna go back to this. No features, right? No encryption. We don't exclude anything. And our scripts are compressed as binary, right? So, and advanced options doesn't add anything here, right? So I'm gonna close this. Just gonna run this locally again real quick. Actually, I want to turn off the sound because it's a bit annoying. So the zone is there, right? So if I run this in browser, it will open in the wrong browser. I hope I can drag out the tab this time. Yes, I can. So, okay, we have. So we do have a zone locally, right? Oh, I wanted to. So we do have our. I want to see what this shows in the export, right? And sadly enough, we have to do another round trip here to via git list resource directories and files in Godot, right? Basically, I want streaming asset behavior, which is Unity talk, but let's see. So luckily this is super fast, but I mean, okay, so there's a dot remap, but so I'm not sure about the wording resources here, right? But let's see. I want to see what happens now. And this is luckily not Unity, so it's pretty quick. External, yes. Load, right? I mean, we even do it manually, right? We load the zone completely manually, so creating your own resources. We probably want to get rid of our old zone format anyway, but right now we're stuck with it, so Godot streaming assets, right? Yes. So the build is done, right? So I'm not sure what it means with re-import here. Cannot open file. There's something weird going on here, right? I'm not sure yet what, and then so this is saving the PCK file, right? So in resources, it's adding the GDC. And it's doing this weird import CTEC stuff. does not make sense. I don't get it. Alright, so game ready. And our resources folder. Godot resources not added to PCK. Yes, that is the error we're seeing, right? So okay, sorry for this. Usually I do this off stream and do a lot of reading, but okay, that may helps. This doesn't make sense. Generating PCK, right? We could use this button, right? We saw this button, so we could just say, hey, export this, right? But we want to do this, right? And this file here, which is sadly not openable, I would like to list that, right? Because our zones need to be in there, but they are not. So how do I ensure this is in, right? What I could do probably, what I could do manually for all, I mean, it works. The funny thing, it works for macOS, right? So, okay, let's do the macOS thing, right? Let's just export the thing. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. I don't want to. Okay, so this works, right? This works. The zones are in there, right? So we can even do this. And our zones are in here, right? They're definitely in here. So somebody put them in there. And it's probably in this pack file, right? So is it just the WebGL exporter that's broken? Godot WebGL PCK custom resources. I'm not sure if it's custom resources. Wow. Wow. Limitations. Cookies, background processing, audio, networking, clipboard, serving the files. Yeah, we know all of that. So okay, maybe. So here's the thing. I am about 95% sure if I just said, if I just did this, right? And we only need does in the project actually mean Godot export mode? Does in the project mean referenced in the project? What does in the project will export every resource in the project? Let's actually try this, right? So I think everything that is referenced will be automatically added. So I'm just going to go with resources here with the zones, right? Because that's the only thing we want. And see what happens. I mean, this does not make me happy at all. Because every time we add a file, we have to remember to add the file. Explicit explicitly select zones to be exported to WebGL in Godot, right? Final builds are always tough. I'm not so sure this will help, right? It shouldn't, but let's wait for the build here. I wish there was a go to top tier GitHub exporting. Really? Really? Ouch. Ouch. Okay, that seems to be fixed, right? Still in pro. Oh, okay. Okay. So the build worked, right? Let's actually check what. Okay, so it's actually packing the zones in there by the looks of it. So if I reload this now, and the background color is wrong, but that's the HTML template, right? Because I told it only to export the zones, it's not exporting anything else now, right? So right, it's everything else is missing. So another try, another try. What if we just say everything? I mean, can we just say all resources and .nzne? Filters to export non-resource files folders, right? We want the nzne. Maybe it doesn't. I wish I could see the output of this command, right? Maybe it just doesn't. So all resources plus nzne. Another try, you never learn, right? Well, you never stop. You never know until you try, right? More tweaking of export to of WebGL export in Godot. The final step's always the hardest. Let's test this. I mean, after that, the game is done, right? So while we check this, while we do this, I want to do while this builds in the background, right? So, okay. Mac OS, right? Same behavior. We export this, and I just want to see how long it takes, and it literally takes like, I don't know, 3 seconds, right? And how big this thing is. So same here. Why? I assume So I export the RC edit is for editing the icon. Yes, I know, I can live with that. And the Linux executable, actually, let's save it here and let's do this, right? And then export. And the exports are super fast. The exports are super fast. Let's quickly go here, right? While we wait for that build. So we have the Linux version, which is like 65, 70, 80 megabytes in total. We have the macOS version, which is slightly bigger, so it's this one, right? It's 180 megabytes. I'm not sure why. So the binary is pretty big, so probably we can strip that. And then the data seems to be consistently 15 megabytes. So then we have the WebGL export, right? So 15 megabytes of data and a quite huge. Probably we can use WASM-op to kind of reduce that by 10%, but that 40 megabytes is a bit. And then we have the Windows version. And yeah, this executable is more the size I expect, right? I want to test something. Yeah, the signature is broken, I know. You know, it reduces the size a little bit, right? It reduces the size a little bit from 160 to 154, but it's it's a fat binary, right? It's x86 and ARM, so it's twice the size as the other one. So okay, bit of unfair comparison. So export super fast. I'm gonna write an automated tool for that. Let's check the build here, right? Was that the latest build? That was the latest build, right? Let's see what it actually exported. So here it's putting everything in, and I want to see if the zones are in there now. Lots of textures, and the zones are in there as well. So project is not fully true. It's probably referenced in this scene somehow. So let's see. Okay, now everything is in there, and also the zones are in here. So if I start swimming, I'll have zones. So we have a fully working game in WebGL. Let's quickly check. Music is working. Let's see if audio is working. Audio is working, right? So audio is working. I loaded a different zone here, so multiple zones is working. The rain and the explosion is working, and dying is also working. Plus the fade to black is working. The bubble effect in the background is working, right? And it fades out and we can start again. So we do have a fully working game now, right? So that was a bit tricky, but I marked that as done. I want to fix this dialog real quick, right? So I want some build info there, and I'm not sure how to do that yet, but that's a different problem. But this was a, this is not 100% clear. The description is a bit odd. So what I also want to do is, and maybe we do the build, right? Let's do the build scripts real quick. Let's try if we can do the build scripts and what of them fail. So we're gonna name this file correctly, right? And we're probably gonna do this in the text editor. So we have GitHub here and say, hey, if we push to the Godot thing, we do this, right? So I think we have workflows here. We can actually let's name this builds WebGL on push. I'm not sure if WebGL is the, so let's name this, and then I want an explicitly manually workflow dispatch triggered. Do we? Let's do one other version, right? Let's do a Linux version. So in workflows, and I don't have a terminal. I do have a terminal here, right? So in workflows, build Godot Linux, right? And I'm just going to copy all of this in there, copy and paste. Oh, typo here. Build WebGL on push, build Linux, right? Linux, bash checkout, sparse checkout. I'm not so sure about this yet. No.NET, include templates, verify the setup, export Linux, right? Export, and this is called web, right? So basically we have export export Godot Linux. It's inside Godot, right? So I'm just gonna x86 64, and I'm not sure what this name here is, right? Project export. So I assume it's just this name here, right? And maybe, so the thing is, okay, I have an idea. So, but let's try this, right? So we export this, we check the result, we list, and we, faces in the way, we actually upload that version to, I'm not sure where we upload that yet. Let's not upload that anywhere. Let's build this right now, right? Let's not, because we don't want this to be instantly downloadable. We want this to be in our artifacts, blah, 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 blah. So this is to do, right? Which means we probably can just say, hey, all of this is to do, right? I just want to see if it builds at all and how big it is. And And this is manually triggered. This should not trigger. Well, this should trigger on tagging, right? This triggers whenever we tag a version. Because when we tag a version, we want all versions and we more to come, right? So, okay. At build action, at Linux build action for Godot. And we name this one so we can distinguish them, right? And we obviously want to add the Linux thing here. So let's commit that. Rebase this, and we're going to trigger a build while we wait. And while we wait, we do something else, right? So actions, better naming now. And this is automated, right? This is the build WebGL on push, but I want to trigger the Linux manually real quick. We could have tagged the version, but I don't want to waste tags right now. So both of them should be running. Let's see. Let's run this in the background, right? And now let's go back to actually this one here. So the question is, how do I bake in build information into the build, right? We could just have a custom resource. We could just have a resource in here, right? And say, create new text file. And call this version info.txt, right? And then say, I don't know, commit is local, because it's a local build. Version is actually 0.3.01. We agreed on not to go with 0, right? We go with 1. Suffix is alpha. Right, suffix is alpha, and so let's look. This is a title. This will be baked in, and the Godot will be baked in, and then there's description, right? So let's have a and this is kind of multi-line, so I'm not sure how to this description this. I don't know. Let's call this early. What did we put? What's the text we had in here, right? What is the text we actually had in the main scene? Settings dialog, info, early test sex for playing, right? I mean, maybe that's the template. I'm not sure, right? Because this is automated, and maybe we just have a second text file here, right? So with description.txt, and maybe we just say this and it gets appended, or we could also have something like commit equals commit, and then do some text replacement magic. Maybe, right? Version will be at the top, and the suffix. And then the description will not be in here, right? The description will be in here. we could do something like this, right? And then on startup, here in the settings dialog, we just set the text, right, of the info and the title. And then we have a script that actually, when it's run on the build system, fills this file. I kind of almost like this. So let's see that this was built, right? So running Linux, building, ignoring these errors. I don't have a Linux box to test right now, and I'm not going to set up my S3 bucket for this on stream. But the given export parse doesn't exist. I mean, that was a classic, right? That was a classic. So this parse here, maybe we should create it. Maybe we should create it. Ensure export Linux export pass exists for Godot. And we ignore the description stuff we did on the side, right? We push this and let's try this once more. Luckily it's fast. It doesn't take forever, right? I mean, it's 1.5 minutes. So Godot, bake in build version. Godot add git commit to build. How do I... So, I mean, we could, if we're very daring, right? If we are very daring, we could just edit the main TSCN, right? I'm not sure I am ready to do that. I am not sure I'm ready to do that. So let's undo this, right? So no changes. What we could also do is, can we... What if we give the settings dialog, right? What if we give a reference to our description and just generate the description? I think I like that. So what if our settings dialog script, right, had an export var description file. Hello, settings dialog. Can I... Settings. Oh, okay, text is not found, right? So config file. What is, how do config files work? Helper class to handle any style files. I could live with any style. Do we have text file? We don't have text file. So the build worked. Let's see if our result. Okay. So the export worked, right? So we can build Linux on GitHub. I could do the Windows and Mac OS version now, but I want to fix this issue first. So so I mean, we could just make this a variant, right? We could just make this a variant. And then we can't do this, right? So what if we make this a string? Pass. File. I mean, here's the thing, right? We have our description here, which is a resource. And a resource has a pass, right? Oh, it's... I wish I could just go here and click. So. Right, we could just make this a resource. And then resource, and then drag this resource in, right? So we have the description resource, and we have, I'm not sure I like this, but let's play with it, right? Version file, and this is the version file, right? So we could do some magic loading here. Actually, we had this config file thing, right? Can be used to store on the file system. Stored values are identified by a section and key. So can I just create a new resource config? Can I just rename this to, I mean, if it's an ini, it should be named ini, right? Version ini, and then I go to this. Export type can only be a built-in resource, a node, or an enum. So what is a config file? Is a resource, right? Okay, let's see what kind of resources are there. Editor settings, editor settings. Wow. We could use JSON, right? I mean, not ideal, but we can write JSON, right? So we could go here and say JSON. Really? Not? Was it? JSON uppercase. Okay, fair enough. So create new resource JSON, right? And then we wait. And then we drag the version this in here, right? And then we basically do what we did here and just have JSON is a bit ugly in this case, but right, we could just do this and bike shed the future of this, right? So we have this. I mean, is this JSON or not? This is valid JSON, my friend, so can I just paste this into Hmm. Okay. Luckily, we only have to do this once, right? So settings dialog JSON. Godot JSON resource. I mean, it gives me a text editor, right? So I assume I don't want to write, right? I want to read. We really have to manually yes, we could just use file access and manually parse it, but data is the parsed data, right? Yeah, we could have our own resource file. I'm trying to use onboard stuff, right? I could, yes, we can just load text files manually. So it would be nice. It would be nice to have something like this, right? So why don't we just go back to our settings dialog and say our version file here actually is a resource, and we drag the version info in here, right? And then on ready we parse the version info, right? So we do file access, I forgot the get file as string, right? And we just say description file. Let description equals this, and for now we just print the description, right? Oh, it's not let, it's var. Yes, I've coded Rust all day long. Parse error should be string. So do we need to get the, can we get the pass for resource? Resource pass, right? That's what we want. Right, so I want to see if we see our description here. And we probably did. I break this? I mean, this is definitely description file is not null, right? Because it's definitely not null. Okay. Why is it null when we... Why is it null? It is null. Why is it... Wait. Here, right? I'm here. Let's empty it out. If I drag this in, maybe a text file cannot be a... Right? Text file would be nice, but text file doesn't exist. Godot, use text file as resource. I'm not the only one struggling with this, so... I mean, yes, we can use a config file here, right? And then create new resource config file. What if we... No. Right, same problem. That doesn't work. So why is this not just a string that contains the pass, right? So if I do this, what will be in description file now? I'm not assigning null. I want the... What am I missing here? Today is not my day. Did I mention that? I mean... Okay, now it's not a resource, right? Now it's not a resource anymore. Now I just want to load the description file. Right, but the description file, I cannot drag the pass in here, right? So can I just copy the pass and paste this in here? Non-ideal, right? But okay, that works, and we actually have the contents of this thing here, right? So that works. So I wish there was a type pass, right? I wish I could say pass here. Can I say, wait, there was a on resource, there was a dot resource pass, right? What was the type of that? String. Now that sucks. That sucks. Okay, so let's make this a string as well, right? So we have this, and then we can drag, but we can copy the pass and put it in here, right? So we can read the description. And if we can read the description, what we will just do is, so where is the description label, right? We just do this, and then here, just for testing, we say dot text equals description, right? That should work. So our dialog now has this weird things. Now we have to parse the other stuff, right? And we're gonna go real quick on that. So we need to patch up the description, and we say info, right, is version file. And then, Godot string manipulation, right? GD script string split. So we split by new line. String documentation. Okay, now we're getting into areas we can do, right? So string, is there a split? There's a split, right? We can split with a delimiter, and that gives us an array. Okay, so var vlines is version dot split, right? and we split, add a new line. Let me say for L in v lines, print L, right? Wrong language, sorry about that. Right, so if we start up, nothing crashes, and we have our lines here. So then we're gonna do var p equals L dot split, and this is a very, very rough parser, right? We split at the equals, and then say match p0. So if p dot lengths, it's an array, right? Packed string array. I'm not sure what's happening with my internet. Packed string array has probably a count, has a count, not a length. Wrong language again, right? Not equals 2, then continue. Right, then we just skip the line. Skipping. It did not match, so we ignore it, right? If it matched, we're gonna say match case. Is it just okay? If it is commit, right? And we say var commit defaults to local, var build defaults to local, var version defaults to v0.0.0, right? Because we don't know, and var suffix also equals to local, which is a bit sad. But so if we have a commit, then commit equals p1, right? And the same for build version, very, very rudimentary, right? Version and suffix, and everything else we just pass on. Right, so here we should have commit, build, version, and suffix. And then what I want to do is I also want to make this unique, right? Make you access unique. Then we drag this in here and say text equals is it printf? Probably not, right? Is it format? GD script string format. Oh, we can just use the % syntax, right? So this is basically it always starts with Fiiish, right? It starts with Fiiish exclamation mark. Then we have a string here, which is the version. And okay, var version string, and I'm still mixing. My brain has not comprehended yet. So version string is this, and this is % version, right? And then version string is %s space Godot, right? And that is % version string. It will all make sense in about 20 minutes, right? So maybe I should have an equals here. So let's put the version info 3.0 here, right? Let's see how it crashes. How it crashes? It crashes. It's already, oh, okay. Let's call this version info, right? Fair enough. Too few arguments to count. Yeah, it was not count, right? It was not count. It was not count, it was size. Because count actually does some counting, but I want the size, right? So if I go here now, I have fish v3.o Godot, the Godot version, right? Why did I make it this complicated? Because I also want to say if suffix dot is not empty, right? Then we're gonna sneak in. We're gonna sneak in the suffix here. A bit of string magic here, right? So let's try this. And that. Suffix is alpha, right? Oh. You could have told me. So if we have a suffix, we add that in here, right? It's v0.1 alpha. And if we don't have a suffix, right? If we do this, this will probably crash. No, we don't have the dash there, right? Hey there. So, but let's put the alpha back here, and so that works nicely for it. It's a bit dodgy, right? But we can bake that in at compile time. And the other thing, we do the same for the description, right? So what we're gonna do is our description, right? That is the wrong place. So our description is basically var description, right? And let's call this actually description template. Oh, well, let's call this description, and then we do something with the description, right? We say description equals, do we have a replace? That's a, do we have a replace on string, right? Methods contains get is our replace all occurrences of what with the given forward, right? So does it return? And it returns a new string, right? So in we replace every commit, right? Every commit with commit. And every build with build. And just in case we want to add the version, well, add the version and the suffix in the template. If it's not used, it's fine, right? So the commit is local, the build is local. Formatting to be done, but the reason I do this now we can add a build script actually, right? So we can have a helper in the build script that basically overwrites this version info, right? So actually, where do we put this is the main question, right? So mkdir.git github helpers update version info.sh, right? So what if we had an update version info, and this is just a bin and anything, right? But so, okay. Where does this file need to be, right? We write to Godot resources version info txt, right? Please, we should do some, hey, where is this file, right? This is version info. And then we just write the 4 variables in there, right? So if I open the version info from here, we just want to write this, right? So what we can do is we gonna do an echo, and there's something shell here doc, right? We can just, so it's basically command, and basically we do a cat and a file, and then we can do text replacement, right? So we do a cat eof, and we do this $vi blah, right? So if I do blah is not good, blah is not good. Let's actually take this, right? So let's take this, and if I u plus x dot github helpers update version info, and then just run this, right? Permission denied. Yeah, if I could change the mod, make it a bit bigger. Right, and now I look into the version info and alpha 2 and run this again. And this is alpha 2, right? So that doesn't really help us. So the version should probably come from the tag to be done later, right? The build is, I'm not sure if we should even take the build from that file, to be honest. Let's park that. I want the commit, right? So I want probably git, okay. Git, I always forget that. Ref parse short commit hash. Yeah, this is probably what I want, right? So this is the commit, right? This is the commit. So I could just put this here, but I'm going to say commit equals $subshell this, right? And then I can just say, hey, put the commit here, right? So if I run this now, I get the commit hash here. And the other two I just leave for now, I guess. The version could be the tag, right? So we could take the git get tag. So we could just so this might be multiple tags, right? So there is no tag because there's no tag pointing at us, but we could say version equals $this, right? And if version equals nothing, then version equals v. So, right? So we could do $version here. Let's give this a spin. Right, so our version is why is our version is nothing? Oh. And I'm leaning towards explicit. This probably will fail. We can do the old X trick, right? So our version info is 0. We don't have a version info, right? And the build probably shouldn't come from here, and the suffix let's say suffix equals nothing, right? So we put the suffix here, or let's say the suffix equals local, unless we have a version, then the suffix equals to do, right? Step by step. So my suffix is local. I actually want to undo all these changes, right? I want to keep our changes because they should be committed. Can you? Can you please overwrite this? Thank you. These two editors are fighting. So the nice thing about this, well, why I did it this way, right? So if we build the web version, for example, right? And this is a build on push. After the checkout, actually, we're gonna say name fix version info, right? And we can just run this, and it's a single line, but we can just run this, and we will never commit this, right? This is will just be used during the build and then thrown away. So we fix the version info and then do the build. We could just do this, right? We could just do this. Is this cheating? Is this cheating? I wonder if Godot has like Godot global constants, right? If that is like constants build type or export name, exported properties. Export and export, right? It's export. So I mean, okay. Bash. I mean, what we could do is, right? And I'm just gonna do an exit -1 here, right? And what we could do is build equals, oh, I forgot bash variable from command line with default, right? $1 something. So it's $1-default, right? So we could say right, we could say this, and here we just say, actually we can put this here, right? So if I run this now, it says unknown, but if I say web, it will say web. And that's what we want, right? So we can it's having this here and here probably should be a variable, because otherwise we forget to set it. Step one, I just want to see if it's working at all, right? So yeah. So polishing up the auto build is always a bit annoying. Fill settings dialog in Godot with build info, right? And the thing is, okay, if I just press play here, that's why I didn't want to commit it, right? I want our it's local, that's fine. Maybe we later add a build date or a build number, or but version info and is already plenty nice, right? And then we can just edit the description and put some text here. But the thing is, if we push this now, so we edit this, which adds the update, we add the two files, we do this thing in the dialog, which will fail if somebody forgets to wire it up, but it's wired up now. We add that script and we add the description and the version info, right? And if I do a rebase now and a push, and then check here. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? Yeah, okay. This obviously needs a tab here. Oops. Let's just copy this because it's kind of I wish there was a way to run this locally and verify it's working before you push it, but I wonder why it didn't re-trigger. Why didn't it automatically trigger? Okay, let's see. Come on. Come on, runner. Pick up this job. Pick up this job. Can somebody please pick up this job? Thank you. We probably should have in setup job, we should have an variable to choose the build type. So we have we did all the local builds. Let's check the to-do while we're here. Let's check the to-do while we're here. So we have fixed this, right? This splash image I have on the other machine. I forgot to copy here. Create demo build will be interesting. And I actually want an automated upload to itch of the demo version, but we'll talk about that in a second. So let's see. Build is done, right? And I actually wanted to see. Unexpected operator. Because we said, and I'm a klutz, we said this, right? So probably shall test if variable is empty. We probably dash z. Is it z? I like this more. Right? Basically, it says, hey, add one, and add one is true, but if it's false, so, right? So unknown and web. And let's actually echo dollar suffix, right? Yeah, and this has nothing to do with the other one, right? So this is basically the version, but that's fine. Let's undo this. Some shall help tweaking for Godot builds. This is the part that is no fun, right? Now we have it double. We have it fixed for Bash, and luckily the turnaround is pretty fast. So one more. Let's do one more. I don't know why it's not building on push anymore. Did I mess that up? Oh, because it's not in the Godot folder. Right, we changed the helper, but nothing in the Godot folder, and this only runs when so we need to run it manually for the moment. Or we could have tagged the version. Right? What else? We were just in the to-do, right? So in the to-do. Create a demo build. So I want to overlay that says this is not a final build, right? So what we probably could do in the project export, right? What we could do is, what if we just add another web build, right? And we call this web demo. Can I would love to copy all the settings over here, right? And then we have features demo. And then we check the feature list in the build. Wouldn't this be nice if we could just... The thing is, right, so You probably can do this on the file system. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. Export presets, right? And we have web-demo. Really. So, right, so we copy all of this. I wish we could say, hey, by the way, use this as a default and just change these, right? So we call this WebGL demo. And then the only changed option is where's the demo here, right? Where is where's the feature? Probably we want to reload the current project. And then our demo is gone, right? So we shouldn't be editing this while the editor is open, but let's try. So this is a custom template, right, for the web. So let's override this. It's probably, okay, nothing changed, but let's at least reload this. Reload this. Let me go project settings. No. Project export. Web demo features demo, right? It probably reset the folder because the folder didn't exist. But where is this feature? I don't see, here's the thing, right? Where's this feature saved? Oh, there, custom features demo, right? So it's in there, so we can do a web demo now. While this is running, we check, hey, we did something here. Did it fail? Did the fixed version info looks good? So it re-exported and uploaded. So let's do a quick check. Let's do a quick check. Let's do a quick check. Almost. Fiiish version info local Godot. And the description is messed up. So how did I manage to do this? Okay. How do I, so this is a description. Okay. Wait, that was the title, right? So Fiiish version. I'm not sure how version info ended up here. So it means it didn't get a version from the info file, right? So it didn't get a version info from here. So it used the one we baked in, which was the 00 local Godot. So, okay. What we will do is after we output this, Actually, let's do this in the update version info. Let's actually output the version info, right? Let's output the version info. I'm not sure why. And actually, let's do one more change because we added that demo anyway, right? So we call this demo. We use the demo export here, and we gonna web-demo. Was that the folder? Was that the folder? Oh, it's WebGL demo. Fixed that as well, right? So WebGL demo, just for the sync. You probably messed this up pretty badly now. We're doing multiple syncs at once, which is never good, but due to the turnaround at WebGL demo export to Godot, plus a bit of I wonder what went wrong. Oh, version is empty because it's not tagged, right? Yeah, that's actually expected. So this is expected, the 00, because we didn't tag that version. I have no idea why the description is empty. Right, so we actually gonna, no, we're not gonna do that step by step. So we output the description, right? We use the web demo export. I hope I added that correctly. We fixed this typo here, which we just saw, which confused us. And we have the web demo export, which exports to WebGL with the demo feature, right? And that should be fine. So let's try this again. And this actually did change some files in the Godot folder, right? So GitHub, can I please just have my navigation bar pinned to the top? So while this is building, Godot export feature. Exporting. Feature tags. Each feature is represented as a string, which can refer to a lot of stuff. So OS has feature. Custom features. We can, yeah, demo build. Demo build. Okay. So we could have just done. Okay, so we can have a different icon, different splash screen, which is nice. So right now, I just want to check the OS has feature, right? OS has feature, and actually if OS has feature demo, then we do another version string appending, right? Then we append demo. We could do more for now. That's good enough for me, right? We could have, I would love to have a better template language here and say, hey, if it's demo, then use the other description. I mean, what we could do, right, in the settings dialog, what we could do is we could just duplicate this and do this, right? And then here, what we could do is right, and then we copy the pass. I still wish we could drag that in. And then we say, if we are a demo build, right? If we are a demo build, okay, var desk equals nothing, right? And this is actually the else. So give me a second. So if we are a demo build, we use the demo file, and if we're normal build, we use the normal file, right? Demo version. Check our website for full version. Right, and if I run this now in the editor, the description was pretty clear. Hey, this doesn't work in editor ever, right? So what I will do is I'm gonna do a little cheat here and invert this test, right? Just to test if the other text is working. Demo version, check our website for full version. I'm not sure. Okay, so I'm gonna fix this, right? We could have a much more complex system for this, but for me, this is fine. And while we have been running this, the build has been failing because update alpha run. The user provided path does not exist because we exported in the, okay, multiple issues here, right? So we export the web demo now, but we didn't export to the demo folder, and we didn't ensure the demo folder exists, right? So we don't want a full version. It's built how we slice it. We can still decide 2010 11. So let's do another round of this. So we stage this, fix the pass, you add demo build, add this, right, and add the demo description. So, and I like to do when I tweak the build and CI scripts, I try to do the fixes while I do other work, because usually build takes much longer. So you do one line fix and wait an hour or 4 hours. So use demo feature for WebGL builds of Godot. Let's rebase, let's push. If that works, so I'm not sure this is enough, right? I would like something like, I don't know, how do we do this, right? I would something like Maybe we do it in the HUD, right? Maybe we do it in the HUD and say add child node margin container and call this demo margin container, right? And we set that to middle right and actually add a child node text. Maybe we just add a label in here, right? Maybe just add a label that says demo label settings. Font is our standard font, right? I don't want to add it to the theme explicitly. So I want this to be, I don't know, big, right? Demo. Let's actually, okay, let's not use this. Let's use something in this range. With an outline, right? With a big fat black outline of no shadow, right, and we want this. Can we do this? Can we turn this by 90 degrees? I mean, it's something like this. A bit in your face, but not too annoying, but to show, hey, there's something going on here, right? So we can go into the theme overrides and say constants. Do it like this. And can we rotate this? Can we rotate this by 90 degrees? The pivot. So I'm going to undo this. Can we just rotate the label? Can we just rotate the label? Right, then the container should fix the... We can't, but what if we add another control in here, right? Something like this. Right, that scales and is always, I mean, should it be turned the other direction? I mean, maybe we turn it 45, minus 45 degrees. I'm not sure why it's not inside this. I don't want to do it manually, right? Something like this. We could put it in the lower right corner, to be fair. Maybe we make the font even bigger. Right, labeled settings. Where's the... And then we... Nope, we just drag. Can I drag the label, please? I mean, we could just put the label into the lower right and then put this control into the This control actually, I think something like this. Yeah, this is better, right? This is better. It's not in the way. You can still play. People will see it. Let's actually pause and rescale the screen. So, and obviously this should only be visible if we are in demo mode, right? So we leave it on an editor, make this access unique, and then actually in the hot script we say demo container, right? Visible equals OS has feature demo. Right, if you have the demo feature, the container is visible, and in editor by default the feature is not there, but when we export it will be there. So let's see how our build did, because I have the feeling, oh no, that's a broken build from before. That's okay. Right, let's see. That build was better. So let's see if that actually worked. So we do a reload here. We do a little reload here. Look here. And this is a non-tagged local demo build, right? So I'm going to do one more thing. One more thing. I'm going to commit. I'm going to call this demo build, right? And it's Godot demo build. Yeah, we're going a bit off script, but we said we're not going to do any of this, right? So we're gonna clean up Godot today and be done with it. So this is we have the G version here, right? So that's the demo build. Add leaderboards, all futures. So this is the last thing we need. Obviously, we have to duplicate the export settings, but I'm gonna do the itch export off stream. Sorry about that. Add overlay to demo build for Godot. It's probably Godot according to, no. I always press Command S in this text. I don't know why, right? So we did this. We only make it visible if the demo feature is set. We added the thing. And what I want to do actually is, okay, now it gets scary, but good tag dash AV release candidate 1, right? Tag v0.3.1-rc1. Not gonna hit enter yet. What? Uh-oh. Probably line endings or something. Not gonna commit this yet because I want to see how this build goes, right? With the demo overlay, and if that demo overlay works, we push the tag. And then we can work on the version. So that worked. So let's see, this should have the demo down here now. So that worked. Let's tag the version right. So the thing is, if I do the tag now, I get this, right? So I can check our script. I can fix this script here. So what we probably can do is we can say version equals this, right? And then we can do echo $version. And what we can do is probably cut -d -f0, f1, f1, and f3, f2 is the other thing, right? So f1 is the actual version. Right, so version equals $this. And suffix equals $this, right? Let's try this. Why? Oh, we have this the wrong way around, right? We should have used this probably. Why is suffix? Oh, we output the build and the suffix, but not the version. Let's version build suffix, right? Version is, why is the suffix? Oh, because we right, so version is 3.0, version unknown. Why is this version unknown? Because I pasted version here, right? So let's try this again. So we have version 3.1, which comes from the tag, right? And RC1 as the suffix. Let's see how this goes. CI/CD for beginners. Extract version and suffix from git tag for Godot. Right? And this means our tag now doesn't fit anymore, right? So our tag now is empty. So if I go back here and add this exit again, just to not write the file, and then run it again, it will revert to the other one, right? So let's see how the build goes before we change too much in one go. So this is the on tag, right? Is this the on tag? Didn't we have a, oh, this was a on push, right? This was not a on tag. This was on any push. So this was a on push. So fix version info is the version is nothing and suffix is to do, right? So that is the old version. So let's commit. Wait, didn't I just commit this? Oh, we didn't do a Godot, right? So what we can try is we can, nope. Can we force a tag? We can force a tag and then we then say push tags. So we push the RC1 tag, right? And this should do all the builds, fill out all the version info, trigger builds on all platforms, upload them to wherever they should be, right? So this is on push and this is on tag, which have the same version, so you can watch one of them. I'm gonna grab something to drink while this builds. I think my Raspberry Pi just died. Ah. Still building. We probably could have done the... Oh, this is the Linux build. The Linux build doesn't have the script in, right? Because we tagged the version. So let's actually check the on push, right? Which is this version. So we say fix version info. It's this commit, it's a web demo, it's version 3.0, it's RC1, right? And it's successfully uploaded. So let's give this a shot. I want to fix the splash screen, right? It's a demo. Fair enough. And it did not work. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work? I mean... Why didn't it work? All the correct info is here, right? So, one more tweak to the script. We were so close, right? We were so close. And obviously the Linux build, right? We want to add the fixed version info here, right? And this is actually, so technically all our I want all our builds to be flagged as demos right now, right? So, not gonna add the demo flag at this moment. Right, and this probably will end up being an itch upload or an S3 upload and then a secondary job to do an itch upload. Probably a secondary test so we can upload latest to itch, right? So I'm going to create a bucket off stream for artifacts, set up all the credentials and everything, right? Because we used the access keys. I don't want to do that on stream, sorry. So yeah, I'm not sure. So the thing is, right? This is the file it creates and writes. So why? Oh, because that file, right? That file Can you? Right, that file is not exported. So, right, that file in the web demo build and in the web, but the resource here, right, is so the thing is, how do we do this? Can we do resources? Wait. In resources, we have description, right? Can we do... Can we do right here? Can we say all resources in txt? Right? And that needs to be added to all the include filters. Right? So filter equal. So this is the web build, right? This is the, and I want to do this in the editor so I can do search replace all without opening the individuals, right? And now I have to, I probably should do project reload current project. And now let's push this once more. So CI systems, but once they're set up, add description and version info to exported resources in Godot. The thing is, if that dragging would have worked, they would have been auto-referenced, so makes me a bit sad. We are very close. So for tomorrow, I said this a gazillion times, splash image, I'm gonna fish that out. I'm gonna fish the splash image. I'm gonna fish the splash image out of the other project, copy it over here. I'm gonna create demo versions of all of, I'm gonna prepare the buckets. I'm gonna prepare one S3 bucket for all the build artifacts, and probably on the side, since it takes some iteration time, gonna add the other builds, right? And maybe even the S3 upload, and then tomorrow we just go over it, because CI is not part of this. No. And we did a lot of CI today, right? So this obviously will have the wrong version info, right? Because it's a web demo local. So this is the folder. So I think Godot just didn't pick up that file, right? That was our problem. So I think it didn't pick up that file either. Was our pass wrong? I mean, is it relative to what? We know the the include filter, right? Oh, wait. Include filter. Godot export include filter. Yeah, that resource handling is not. Yeah, this is not the. Okay, so I guess. Oh, the commit. Wait. Oh, okay, it is working. It is working because this is coming from the tag, right? And this is coming from the commit, so it is working. So let's retag the version one final time, right? Let's retag the version. So we force tag, we push the tag. Force pushing tags always makes me nervous, but usually you shouldn't retag stuff, right? So one final build. And actually this will trigger the Linux build, right? Oh, and it will trigger the... Let's see how this goes. We have a game in the store. Well, almost. Well, almost. We have a game in the store. Soon. Probably I want to add a build number as well at some point. We should pull this after the checkout so we can see earlier if it fails. I mean, the other thing is demo version probably also. So we have features here, right? We have the feature demo. I would like to. Oh, what we could do is we could have a second folder, right? We could have a second folder with the demo zones. Too much work. Too much work. The zone format will change anyway, and then it will be a real resource, and so good for now, right? What we could have in project settings, there was so we could use demo now, right? And then do overrides. I don't want to do that by accident. Alright, so we're gonna not do that for the moment. So this is the last thing we do, right? Completing the job. Actually, the job is completed. Let's see if we have the correct... This lock is too long. 3.0.1 RC1 Godot demo. 3.0.1 RC1 Godot demo commit 745A373C. Commit is 745A73C. And the build is a web demo build. So it's good to have this information there. Maybe that panel needs some reformatting, different font sizes. I mean, we don't want to overload that screen, right? Maybe we put the buttons on top of each other. But this is what the old game did. And we have this nice pinkish. There it is. There it is. Oh, there. Ah, you know what I mean. This demo text here. And the music is working. And you don't have my audio. You don't have game audio, right? Why don't you have game audio? Because that settings were never saved. Okay, that's interesting. And we have... Believe me, we do have the sound. And we have the zones. And you can die while crashing into stuff. And we have the results screen. And I would say... What the... I would say this game is done, right? What just happened? So I think it's just a... Well, you saw that, right? That did happen. I did not hallucinate that. Oh, and the coins and... Oh, we fixed that in Unity, but not in Godot, right? The give me coins and give me distance buttons. Cheat now while you can. I'm gonna remove that tomorrow. So... So, to do... Godot remove cheats for coins and distance, right? I thought we already did that, but we probably... I thought we did that. Didn't we do that? Didn't we do that? We probably... Okay, but we have it. We have a demo build. We have fixed the web zones. We will add the splash screen. I am pretty happy with where we are. So I'm gonna say thank you and good night.